Honestly, it ain't helping you grow what a person ever meant to be in your life for forever. Wish I knew that when I first met someone new in my life. Now I've read it all. You realize both of these people out here are just trying to take away from your true potential. Trying to sell you BS guides out there that don't really work long term, but what do I know? What do any of us really know? I thought I knew where we're heading, the thing that got me here. And like I said, not just another body, I'm someone. But maybe you don't know that I did a fake right there on, then you go 911. Because life is meant to be enjoyable and not just BS being thrown around. Like all the things being promoted, that if you do enough research, you realize that they're all just a scam. I'm not saying what out there is true, and what out there is false. It's kind of crazy to me to think that 1, 2, 3 are the same as 3, 4, 5, and not really, but the same number, same number with different value. Like I have different value than other people out here. My value and your value might not match up, but that's okay because we don't always need to match up. But as long as your energy and my energy create a quote unquote 100%, then people realize that the whole society is kind of a joke. What do I say? Kind of just a joke. And honestly, what do I know about being true or not? What do I know about any of the things that are going on? Maybe just enough research that cause lifetime change. Or maybe that not enough because they're never enough in some people's views. People get in the put themselves in stuff that they don't need in life. They overcome something in life they've been fed their whole life. They realize that all that it's just a BS reason for why things do or don't work. But yeah, what do I know? Just another guy on the internet putting my opinion out there for people to hear. But you said my opinion aren't valued. No one. My opinion are valuable, but everyone else's opinion, like I mentioned in a previous video, if you don't put it, if it's important to put it out there. Because your opinion about all the other stuff going on in the world that I'm not going to mention right now, because if I mention then people realize that it's kind of a BS. Really. I'm not playing in war or anything. It's at the end of the day, you had enough carbs in them, yes, enough carb in them, but keto and all of it, low carb propaganda. You realize if you look at human biology and actual case studies, and look at if we are meant to be keto or carnivore, then why do we need tools to kill the animals? Nothing. I had a joke. Yeah, why do we need tools to kill animals if we're meant to eat them? Because they don't want you to think, they don't want you to logic. What do logic nowadays? Get banned. But I have different stories. My logic is actually very solid logic. You can debunk any of the diet out there easily if we want to. But do I know? In biology, experience in my own body. I mentioned months ago, I went like a human skeleton because I
I'll be restricting my fat and protein intake very low. There really no need to carry too much mass on my body. And yeah, not a quote-unquote aesthetically pleasing now, but aesthetic mean nothing in my opinion if you don't have the energy to do stuff. When you have the energy to do stuff, you realize all the out here, just another plot to be lied to. But if you want the truth, look at what people are trying to sell. Look at the thing that they're trying to tell you is true or untrue. Oh, yeah, blah, my blah, blah, blah. But in reality, you don't know what you're talking about. But I don't care. Work for you, don't work for someone else. Yeah, that's crazy to me. Everything around the world is just a lie. I wish you could understand that. Now, I want to tell you all the BS. Have more protein, lose weight. Protein anabolic, but being insulin response. Carbohydrate are catabolic. Very catabolic. If you only eat carbohydrate, you're fucking anorexic. Looking. It works. If you don't eat that much protein and fat, and only the pure sugar, you're dying almost. Good. And I think you take quote unquote are, but in another you're not. Yeah, it worked because your insulin is going to be really low. When I got that was when I would have had my low quote unquote weight. I got a question. Do you have a eating? No. Can I understand human body? Biology. I'm also not. Maybe a little bit more too, but other than that, one thing I've really changed now compared to then, I mean, my age, maybe my height, but what I really changed, but how much fat and protein I was eating compared to back then. Back then, when I was at my lightest, maybe 10 gram fat, probably at most 40 gram of protein at most. But then I had a thing in my life that happened. I couldn't do that diet because I'm but how do you do that diet? Fish, fruit, rice, and potatoes, and sugar, and water. But keto and carnivore say don't do that. You would be dead. If that were true, I should be dead already. But I've been doing that for years. And look at me. Do I look like I'm dying? I mean, I do change my fat and protein and take a little bit throughout the few years and month, depending on how I want to look and how I want to feel and the energy at which I want to have. But I did calorie restrict for a little to prove that calorie restriction really doesn't do anything wrong for your body because cause it you have hormonal problem and digestive problem. But yeah, back to my regular eating habit of how many carbs I want instead of counting calorie in, calorie out, blah 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 blah. I was doing it to see if it actually worked. It didn't. Because they want to tell you calorie in, calorie. I mean, in theory, yes, it worked. But are we machine? I mean, yes, we are machine, but we're not machine, if that makes sense. But what are we things nowadays? whatever gets something done in a timely manner. That's more efficiency, but what is efficiency? True efficiency, getting it done as fast and efficient as possible. You can get something done fast, but it might not be in the most efficient way. You can get something done efficient, but not the faster way. So, time and efficiency, they're another third party to it. We're not talking about that in the video. In a different video, you understand what I'm saying. We talk about it. People promoting. Take that. If protein works so well, then why do all the bodybuilders take steroids? If building muscle was so easy, why do people take steroids? Because it's faster? Okay. If building muscle is based on protein intake, and everyone that has a low protein intake shouldn't have muscle. And all of them shouldn't be able to keep their muscle. But in reality, the human body, until you get a little bit older, they're better on a lower protein diet. Scientifically proven. You can look up my statement. Yeah. You could bone that, but a lot of people bone that have gotten less high kind of genetic, but also kind of based on diet. There are a few other things to it too. But yeah. I ate very little calcium when I grew up. Somehow, I'm quote unquote average or above the average height. People say, I mean, that coming from a little bit of malnutrition too, but yeah. Because I was underweight. Because what I be with eating would not causing fat on the body. I learned that when I would actually constant realize that every single thing out here, you actually realize we're all connected. The way to get the least amount of harm in the world is through a few ways. So, harm, it happens, you can't stop it. That's it happening, you can't stop it. You can have the effect out there. I'm not going to talk about in this video, because the video is already, in my opinion, long enough for the majority of people to realize everything I'm saying, true or not. The people out there gonna, I love being controversial about my opinions. It means that I'm making a difference in the world.